You're now tuned in to the Week 17 Fantasy Football Podcast with your hosts, Amalean, both from the cross, and Stat Guy Matt. Remember, trust no one except for these guys.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Week 6 of 17, and we are back for our second podcast of the week. I'm your host, Fourth from the Cross. You could just call me Fourth.
And it's your boy Amalean, a.k.a. the Mexican Football God. I'm here for another segment. Let's get this shit going.
Hey, everybody. Stat Guy Matt. I'm ready to talk football.
Oh, yeah. So how did everybody do on their waiver claims?
Well, I got my kicker.
Yeah, I spaced out. I didn't put in any claims. I'm going to have to do some cleanup here.
Yeah, I didn't get anybody. It is what it is, though. I did make 2 trades today, so pretty proud of that. But besides that, I think we can go ahead and get started, fellas. Y'all know what time it is, right?
Start 'em, sit 'em,
Pick 'em! All right, so you know how this goes. Online, they give you the information. We pick that shit apart. The information I'm talking about is start 'em, sit 'em. Teams on bye this week, the Lions. So we got players like Matthew Stafford, Kerryon Johnson, Theo Riddick, Golden Tate, Marvin Jones, Kenny Golladay, and Matt Prater out. Saints are also on a bye. So that's Drew Brees, Alvin Kamara, Michael Thomas, Ted Ginn, Benjamin Watson, Will Lutz in the defense. I mean, it's a lot of players this week. I'm pretty sure you guys need us this week, so I hope you're listening. So we'll go ahead and start with the QBs. I'll take the fourth one. He was listed as a stardom. Kirk Cousins versus the Arizona Cardinals. Okay, I know you're thinking it's the Arizona Cardinals. They're trash, right? Well, there's some numbers behind that I want to share with you. Something to look out for. He struggled against the Eagles, who allow 20 points per game to QBs, and the Cardinals actually only give up 14 points per game to QBs. He states in his article it's only 19.5 points per game. Not sure where he got that number from, but just something to look out for. I'm not saying don't start him, but I mean, if you have a better option, why not? Because only 5 other teams give up less points per game to QBs, and those teams are the Bears, Seahawks, Ravens, Dolphins, and the Jags. So just something to think about. All right, so next we got our sit-em, which it's going to be Ben Roethlisberger versus the Cincinnati Bengals.
All right, Big Ben, guys. Sorry to say this, but I have to agree with this. Yeah, to sit him. Big Ben on the road, he's not that good. And history says that Big Ben is going to throw an interception this week or probably even 2 against the Bengals. The 28 times that he's played the Bengals, he's thrown 28 interceptions. Like, it shows that he struggles. He might win the games, but he doesn't score you too many fantasy points.
Yeah, I agree with this as a sit-em. I'm sitting Ben this week. I've got Aaron Rodgers, so I've got the luxury to sit him. But there will probably be guys out there that need to start Big Ben. I think he's kind of in that gray area.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I don't think the Bengals defense is scary at all. They give up an average of 21 points per game to QBs. So I would start Ben.
Yeah, and that's one of the upsides to this is that the Bengals defense is bad. They are, letting these quarterbacks score 21 points. So that's the only upside to this. But to me, I'm gonna have to go with the history, and I'm gonna have to sit this guy down.
All right, next we got wide receivers. There was a guy listed in the stardom section by the name of Mike Williams, and he is playing the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, and I don't think he's a start. I don't necessarily agree with this stardom pick here. I think Mike Williams is probably a sit this week. I know the Browns isn't necessarily a bad matchup, but I'm not convinced that this isn't a bad receiver. This guy's had 1 decent game. I think last week he only got 4 targets. So if you need to start Mike Williams, you're in rough shape this week.
Agreed. Sit-em section, I seen Jordy Nelson. He was there. They're asking us to sit him versus the Seahawks. I don't know why I would do that. I own Jordy Nelson, so I take this kind of personal. He's playing a defense that gives up 26 points per game to wide receivers, and he's one of their main red zone targets. So I think I'll keep rolling with Jordy Nelson. Thank you very much. So next we got running backs. There's TJ Yeldon versus the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, DJ Yelton, I'm gonna agree with this. It's a must start with Corey Grant's season being over and Fournette still lingering with these hammies, and it's a must start. He's gonna get the heavy workload over there. Even though they signed Jamal Charles, Jamal Charles has proven that he can't be the guy there. Okay. Uh, you know, I know they're going against the Cowboys. They only give up, 15 fantasy points to the running backs. But if you go look at what Alfred Blue did last week to them with the receptions, I feel like Yelton's gonna have a monster game this week.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I agree. I think that if you listen to the show from week to week, this is a name that we talk about a lot. This is always a guy we're discussing. You go out and pick him up. We're telling guys to go out and pick him up. We're telling guys to start him every week. He's getting a good opportunity, in a backfield where the star can't stay healthy. So yeah, I think if you listen to the show, we like this guy.
So, I mean, just to add some rebuttal to you guys' comments, I mean, yes, Alfred Blue did do his thing, but he does have Deshaun Watson as their quarterback. The Jaguars have Blake Bortles. I mean, if I were the Cowboys, I'm just going to load up the box all day and say, hey, beat me with Bortles.
Yeah, but Blake Bortles is the king at short passes, so that's where he's gonna probably kill these Cowboys. And I do got the Cowboys losing this week, by the way.
Yeah. All right. We'll see how that goes. But yes, TJ Yeldon was listed in the stardom, and I thought that was something we should talk about. In the sit-em section, he was actually the sit of the week, right? Yep. Adrian Peterson versus the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, this was probably clickbait, don't you think? I don't think anybody thinks that Adrian Peterson is the sit of the week. I expect Adrian Peterson will probably have a pretty decent game against a Panthers defense that's given up some points to running backs. He's also got the advantage that Chris Thompson may be limited. I know he's injured. He was dinged up toward the end of the game. I think probably he will be available, but they may use him in a limited role. So I think AP is going to have, a lot of opportunity to, to really show up in a big way this week.
Yeah, AP, man, he's pretty competitive. I think he's seen what Saquon Barkley did last week, and I think he's going to try to outshine that,
Well, he did. Did y'all see that? I don't know if y'all heard that article. He said that if he was still the Vikings running back, that the Vikings would be in a better position.
Yeah. Hard to argue with that.
I love that. All right, moving on. So, tight ends in the stardom column, we had CJ Uzomah versus the Pittsburgh Steelers listed.
Yeah, and I'm going to agree with them here just due to the fact that the Steelers have given up an average of 99 yards per game to tight ends, okay? This name, it's not impressive. It doesn't wow you. But he when the offense is out there, he's out there 91% of the snaps out there. So yeah, I'm agree with this article. I'll give him a stardom. But if you really need this guy, you're really hurting at tight end.
Yeah, and as Matt usually says, he probably won't stay along. He probably won't stay healthy long enough to accumulate any of those points.
Well, those bodies are dropping over there.
They're dropping, man. They're dropping.
Yep.
So in the sit-em section, they had Mr. Trey Burton versus the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, this one is puzzling to me because Trey Burton, unlike a lot of the tight ends, is actually healthy. So I don't know how you can you must be pretty deep at the position. I mean, our boy Dan is rolls pretty deep at tight end, so he maybe is prepared to sit Trey Burton. But the average fantasy footballer is probably going to be starting Trey Burton this week. I don't know, I don't know many teams that have a better tight end on them and Trey Burton on the bench.
Yeah, I got Trey Burton. He's my tight end, and I'm going to start him this week.
Yeah, I mean, overall, man, it's tough at the tight end position, especially this year. Mm-hmm. So we are going to send our prayers to you, devastated fantasy football players at the tight end position. Lord, hear our prayers.
Hear them all. Hear them all.
Amen.
All right, so moving on. So, of course, we like to give you some of our stardom picks, and these are people that are probably not listed out there. Remember, these are people that aren't your obvious starters that you're probably going to need, I mean, we're giving you extra advice, man, Everything else is already out there. So, first stardom pick that we have is a QB. His name is Alex Smith versus the Panthers. Talk to me, Amalean.
Alex Smith is a must start this week. Carolina has allowed 325 plus passing yards, in these past two games. And man, they've there's no defense over there. And I feel like Alex Smith's going to have one of his best weeks so far this year, and he's going to score about 27 fantasy points.
That would be very nice. Next pick is a running back that we think you should start.
It's actually a backfield more than anything because there's some question marks here, and this is probably why guys are questioning, do I start these guys? We're talking about Dalvin Cook and Latavius Murray going against the Cardinals, which is a very soft matchup. But the trick here is figuring out which one of these guys is going to be giving you the points. I'm hoping it's Dalvin Cook. We'll talk about that later, but yeah, I think Dalvin Cook could have a big week, but if Dalvin Cook isn't healthy enough to handle a full workload, look for Latavius Murray to be a good start as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. The last person we're going to recommend to you to start is somebody that I didn't see listed up there, but I think he should be listed. That guy should be Doug Baldwin. I know he put up a pretty bad game last week. But the defense that he's playing this week allows 30 points per game to wide receivers. I mean, Russell Wilson threw 3 touchdowns last week. I mean, you don't think he's going to get his boy Doug Baldwin involved? I mean,
yeah,
I predict a serviceable amount of yards with a touchdown at least.
Yeah, I think last week they had him like on a pitch count because he was only targeted one time. All right, and if that happens again this week, man, there's a big issue, with the Seattle offense.
Yeah, I think he's probably worth plugging in. I mean, the matchup certainly works to his benefit coming off that injury.
Yeah, so those are our stardom picks for the week. Alex Smith, Vikings running backs, and Doug Baldwin. So next, we're going to give you some of our sit-em picks, and these are sit-ems that are not out there. The first one is a QB. He goes by the name of Case Keenum versus the Rams.
Case Keenum, Cook's house. Yeah, that's my guy, but that ain't my guy this week. Okay, Case Keenum, to me, he's not a worthy start. Any week he's he's thrown an interception every game, and he's only scored 5 touchdowns, and those 5 touchdowns came in 2 games, and then he's going against the Rams. All right, the Rams are gonna demolish the Broncos. So to me, he's a sit-em.
Yeah. Can't disagree with that. What about you, Matt?
Yeah, I've never understood how Case Keenum continues to get starting jobs in this league.
But he got that big contract that we didn't think he was going to get 5 years ago. So he got it. So what else should the guy do? Just throw the ball around probably.
Yeah.
True that. So I guess I'll cover the running backs. Well, there's really not a sit-em running back for us. I want to let everybody know, there's a lot of great running backs this week that are facing like some of the toughest run defenses in the league this week. Like Saquon's playing against the Eagles, Mixon versus the Steelers, Elliott versus the Jags, DJ versus the Vikings. I mean, those are like the top fantasy. I mean, they allow the least amount of fantasy points to running back. So I'm not going to tell you sit any of them. Like I told you to sit Patrick Mahomes, even though
Red Raider,
even though he only had 15 points. And if you take away that rushing touchdown he got, I mean, he'd only have 9 points because he threw 2 interceptions and no touchdowns that game. So just saying, but I'm not going to give you that kind of, I'm not going to tell you to sit stars because that's not a good move. It's never a good move. So strictly based off numbers, these guys are beyond that, But here is a sleeper. I think Denver running backs may not do so well against the Rams because they only allow like 16 points per game. But if you split that in half between 2 backs, that's like 8 points each. I mean, I'm not really feeling that. So,
yeah. A quick question. All right, let's go back to these running backs. All right, if you had to sit one of the Seattle's running backs, would it be Carson or would it be Davis?
I mean, who's the better receiving option?
I don't know. I'm asking you that. So, because I think you have Davis this week and I got Carson. So,
I mean, I feel like Davis is the goal line guy that they're gonna look to. So, if you're looking for touchdowns, I mean, Davis is the guy,
Hey,
and I think honestly,
hey, we'll talk about this on week 7. All right. So,
I think we both gonna eat, man. They playing the Oakland Raiders, so that might just be a wash. We'll see. So sit 'em pick wide receiver. I think we're picking Alshon Jeffrey versus the Giants.
Yeah, this is a tough matchup. The Giants' defense is tough for any receiver to go against. Alshon Jeffrey, was out the first few games this year with that injury. He came back with a big game and then fell completely flat last week. And the Giants' defense is no joke. So this is definitely a sit for me this week.
Yeah, must agree.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. So our sit-ems picks this week: Case Keenum versus the Rams, possibly the Denver running backs, and Alshon Jeffrey. And that concludes
Start 'em, sit 'em,
Pick 'em, which will bring us to Wild Predictions. All right, so last week I went a little too wild. So did James Conner on the field,
Holy cow.
Last week, I said Stephen Ridley will outrush James Conner by double. That was false. Stephen Ridley only got 5 carries for 8 yards, and James Conner did his damn thing. Congratulations, James Conner. You are not a bust, I guess. I don't know. Well, he did play the Falcons, right? I mean, whatever. We kind of expected that. Whatever.
Yeah.
All right.
You did it, not with your wild prediction.
I was just hating. I was trying to get somebody to drop him. Anyways, my new wild prediction is Tom Brady will throw 400 plus yards and 5 touchdowns and give the Chiefs their first loss to the season. That's my wild prediction.
Yeah, I feel that shade and that hate going towards Patrick Mahomes. But you know what? I'm going to let you be you, okay? I'm going to let you be you, Forrest.
Hey, man, it's my wild prediction, man. All right? Let me
All
be.
right. Last week, Kiki, do you love me? All right. I predicted that he was going to have 6 receptions. He had 6 receptions. I predicted that he was going to have 1 touchdown. He had that 1 touchdown. I predicted that he was going to have 136 receiving yards. He was short by 85. He had 51. God, so close. Like when you play the lottery and all these numbers, 2 numbers come out, but you need the 3. It's like. But my wild prediction for this week is, I love my team, the Texans, even though sometimes they make me pull my hair. But I predict that defense will have 5 sacks, 2 interceptions, and 1 pick six. And 5 of those sacks will be 3 from J.J. Watt.
Wow. That would be fun. All right. Last week, my wild prediction. The LA Rams would have 3 receivers go for over 100 yards. I was counting on Brandon Cooks, Cooper Kupp, and Robert Woods. Unfortunately, 2 of those gentlemen exited the game with concussions, and I didn't stand a chance. We're going to see if I can do a little better this week. Again, I'm playing with injuries here, but I'm looking for Dalvin Cook to show up healthy. We talked about him earlier. It's going to be him or Latavius Murray as a solid start this week. I'm hoping it's Dalvin Cook. I'm hoping he goes for over 100 yards and finds the end zone. He's been practicing with the first team this week, so I'm keeping my fingers crossed.
Dalvin Cook.
All right. Well, I think we got it set, fellas. Wild prediction.
It's now time for that part of the show. Ask Week 17.
All right, you know how this goes. Matt tells you to submit your questions. You email us, or however you submit them. You tell us in person, and we write it down and put it in our pocket. But we got your questions, all right? The first one.
Will you trade Julio Jones for DJ Yelton? Man, get out of here with that. Are you really trying to trade a backup running back? I know he's doing well. He's doing good, but I really feel Fournette's going to come back. And then you want to trade him for a Julio Jones. I'm pretty sure it was either your first pick or maybe, mid-second pick. But if you need help with this, man, I'm pretty sure you're playing for a grapefruit league. Stop it. Don't even think about it. Move on to the next one.
Yeah.
Man, let me just go ahead and give the person that convinced you that this was a good trade the horn. Because damn, they got your ass good. Matt, go ahead and take that next question.
All right. So we got somebody asking if they should start Jameis Winston or Baker Mayfield this week. This seems fairly obvious to me. I mean, they're both good matchups. Jameis Winston, I think, is going against the Falcons this week. Baker Mayfield going against the Chargers. So both favorable matchups. But Jameis Winston, I'm excited to see what he does here. I think Jameis Winston is the better start.
And I'm pretty sure he's playing with a chip on the shoulder because he didn't get that starting position when he got done with that suspension.
Mm-hmm.
Man, true that. So next question. What's up?
And I think it's he's playing for a contract too.
Yep.
All right. It is 4th year for him. That's right. All right. Next question. With Breeze being out this week, should I pick up Josh Allen or Dak Prescott? Now, first off, we hate the Cowboys. I think all of us do, right? Even Matt.
Mm-hmm.
Dak Prescott, I mean, I don't know, whatever. He's a Cowboy. Josh Allen, he plays for what team?
The Bills.
Buffalo Bills.
The Bills. Josh
Something
Allen.
that we did not know earlier this season. I think one of our first episodes, we all admitted we had no idea who the starting quarterback for the Buffalo Bills was.
Very true. If these are the only 2 guys on your waiver wire and we had to pick one, I'm probably going to go against Josh Allen. I mean, I'm probably going to go with Josh Allen, and he plays the Texans. And the Texans, of course, they got outstanding pass rush and things like that. They do get turnovers, but that secondary is pretty suspect, and I think he might get away with throwing a couple touchdowns on us. I don't know.
Yeah, and Prescott's going against Jacksonville Jags, one of the best secondaries in the league. So yeah, he ain't gonna eat. Zeke ain't gonna eat either. So
yeah, you seen what they did to Patrick Mahomes last week. What do you think they're gonna do to Dak?
All right, so somebody wants to know, what is Kerryon Johnson worth right now? Yeah, this guy's exciting to me. I mean, he did come up a little bit hobbled at the end of that last game against Green Bay, but it didn't look too serious, and the Lions are going into a bye, so he'll have time to get healthy. The last 2 games the Lions have played, I think he's led the team in touches, so things are trending up for him. I think he's probably low-end RB2, maybe certainly somebody that you could flex every week and would be very useful as we come into bye week season.
Cool. All right, got anything to say on that fourth?
Nah, I think he nailed it.
Yeah.
I think I'll take that next question though. So they're asking, who should I start this week? Eric Ebron or Jimmy Graham? I mean, I'm probably gonna say Eric Ebron, man. He's been pretty hot, and I feel like Andrew Luck is just loving that target. And Jimmy Graham, I mean, it's so. I mean, if Aaron Rodgers chooses him to be the guy that week, then he'll be the guy that week. But I definitely feel more comfortable with Eric Ebron at this point.
Yeah, you have to go with the hot hand, and I'm feeling pretty good, and I'm popping the collar right now because whatever I said about Jimmy Graham earlier this season, it's coming to be true. The guy only has 1 touchdown, and I really thought Jimmy Graham was going to be used a lot in the red zone, and he's not.
Go ahead and take that next question, Amalean.
All right, is Kiki, do you love me, worth trading for? If so, what should I give for him? If you could trade Kiki, that's good, but I honestly think you're not going to get much for him. You might get you probably RB3, maybe RB2, almost close to RB3. But yeah, I'll keep riding with Kiki. Kuti, do you love me? And I'll keep him, and what I'll do, I'll put him there in a position whenever you have one of your wide receivers on the pie.
Yep, he's a good fill-in. So our next question, somebody wants to know, they're asking Evan Engram. I guess the Giants have already ruled him out for Thursday Night Football. They're asking, with Evan Engram out tonight and my other tight end on bye, should I run the game without a tight end? I'm never a huge fan of running without with an open spot. I would look at your bench and see maybe you've got a 4th or 5th wide receiver or a 4th running back that you're just, holding on to because you drafted him in the 7th round and you're not ready to give up on him yet. Maybe this is the week to give up on him to fill that spot. But I guess it depends who that other tight end is too. If your tight end on bye is worse than Evan Engram, then just drop him. If he's bad, he'll probably be there when you come back off the bye.
Yeah, that's pretty good advice.
Yeah, so go back up, Go listen to your who we said to start them and start that guy.
Yeah, they're probably available. Or probably not, man. You know, it's tough at tight end, man. It's tough.
Yeah.
It is tough. Yeah. But all right, man, I think that concludes Ask Week 17, you know. Thank you for that. And we can move on. Today we have a bit of a new segment somewhat. Reason for that is because our power rankings got released yesterday for our fantasy football, All Pro Fantasy Club league. And
I love it.
It's here, you know. It's 5 weeks late, but, you know, he took care of it and it's there. So it's
and so the thing, one of the reasons why I like these rankings this late, because around week 5, week 6, that's when you start really getting to know what kind of team you actually have.
Yes.
You know, that's the way I see it. You know, week 1, week 2, week 3, you're still trying to plug and play. Like, which players are you going to use? Which are good? Do you drop them? Do you try to trade a Chris Hogan or Derrick Henry, whatever, you know? But, you know, this is the week where now it gets for real. This is the week where you know your players and you know how they're going to perform.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, how many weeks do they wait in college football before they release the BCS rankings finally? I mean, everybody's got their own rankings, but this is long enough in that we can start to get an official feel for it. Anything before this would have been silly.
True. So I guess I'll run through them real quick. Number 1 is King Sack. We talked about him. He laid the buzzsaw, as we say, on Stat Guy Matt past week.
He's a tough matchup.
JJ's Watts.
Hey, can we go back to number 1?
Yeah, what's up? King Sack.
And he's the current Sacco right now, okay? So think about it. From 12 to 1. Good job.
Yeah, reason why his name is King Sack right now. King Sack. Actually, speaking of King Sack, he's going to be on our show next week, but Molly will tell you more about that later, whatever. Number 2, JJ's Watts. Number 3, El Mayo. Our very
what's up?
Our very own Amalean cracked number 3. Number 4, Oilers. That is our current champion. We had him on as a special guest. He was our first special guest.
Frankie. And also the author of these rankings, correct?
Yes.
Asshole. Yep. And not you, asshole Frankie. Number 5, Run Tell That. That's Reggie. Let's see. Number 6. I don't know how this got up this high, but Loon's Goon Squad. You're number 6, my man. After all those serious injuries earlier this season, you seem to climb the power rankings.
Yep, all in that.
Good
face.
Waiver wire action.
Oh yeah.
Love
that quarterback you got,
Patrick Mahomes. So number 7, our very own Stat Guy Matt, aka Carry On My Wayward Son. Mm-hmm. Number 8, Mr. Trade Guy himself, Motivated Hustler, Frank Brown, aka the greatest ever, aka 2 for 1. You know what I'm saying? And number 9, they got this guy here, me, the throne. You know, number 9. Wow. If I recall correctly, I beat Matt and. I score more points than Loon and Matt. What the hell's going on with these rankings, Frankie? I demand a goddamn re-rank. You know what?
Hey, but you're gonna stay there down the 9 after this week after I give you that beating.
No,
so
I'm gonna
feel bad, okay?
Frankie, if you're listening to this shit, if I beat El Mayo, I demand to take his number 3 spot above you.
No.
All right, number 10. Is our guy Dan. Even though Dan is 4-1, he is sitting at number 10. Let's see, reason for that. He's ranked 3 in the real standings right now after taking his first loss, but this is because he only has 392 points scored against them. Yeah, so he's had some luck on his side. But he plays King Sack, the highest scoring team in our league this week. So if you pull this one off, Dan, maybe you belong on the number 1 spot.
He won't.
Number 11, most hated. That's my brother. Yeah, you know, he started off hot.
This feels self-inflicted.
Yeah, he traded Kamara, so I mean, you probably belong here, T. Sorry.
He dropped Amari Cooper.
Oh, did he? Oh, he did. Why? Was he the one who did?
And now Amari Cooper has been traded. Yes.
Or a running back at that. The most precious thing in a football league.
Oof.
All right. And number 12, our guy, which we're going to have to feature him on here pretty soon. Actually, maybe the week after King Sack. It's going to be Booby Miles, the runner-up to the Sacco, who's looking like he's about to get the next Sacco.
Oh, he's miles away. He's miles away from me being on the top.
Miles from the top.
Miles from the top. Yeah.
That would be a good team name for Miles.
Yeah, Miles at the bottom right now. So
Yeah, I think he's banking on Bell coming back and kind of playing spoiler to everybody because I don't think he has a shot at the playoffs anymore. That's just my personal opinion. Sorry, boobies.
yeah, but we'll have these rankings, and we'll talk about them. Every Thursday, and so y'all guys can get an understanding that what's going down in our league.
Yeah, we'll keep it shorter next time. We'll just talk about movement.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it. And I think it's about that time again, fellas. I'm just I'm looking for my music. Where is it at? Here it goes. Yeah, you know what time it is.
Oh no.
It's time to say goodbye. You know why? Because Amalean has a meeting with China at 9:30. So we've been rushing this show, and it's already been 34 minutes.
Special NFL intel. Special guest next week, King Sack, the Mac. All right, he'll be in here. What I want to know is what is he doing to be number one, 12-1? I want to hear it all. We'll have those questions. Oh, it's gonna be good.
And keep in mind, man, King Sack. I mean, he has like 100 more points than everybody else right now. I mean, dude he's on fire right now. So we want to hear about that for sure. So, of course, I always got to tell you about the Facebook. I'm going to do that really quick. Week 17 Fantasy, YouTube Week 17 Fantasy, Twitter Week 17 Fantasy. If you don't know by now, what's wrong with you? We are on Apple. We are on Spotify. We are on every podcast thing that's out there. So go look us up.
And if you are listening to this, I'm pretty sure you're listening to one of these.
Yeah, that's right. All right. And you heard it earlier. We did our Ask Week 17 segment. A lot of people like submitting their questions there. Go ahead, head on over to the website, week17fantasy.com. You can find the link to submit your questions there.
That's right.
All right, guys. All right, the game of the week, Chiefs versus Patriots. Who you got? The spread is at 3.5 Patriots.
Well, I think you guys know who I am going for after my wild prediction. Patriots.
Yeah, they're in New England, so that's probably a pretty good bet. I'm just looking forward to a good high-scoring game.
Yeah, I hate to say this, but I think this is the week that Mahomes goes down, but he don't go down because of him, because of the defense. I think Tom Brady's going to tear it up like Bebo's wild prediction.
Hey, Amalean is what's the over on this game?
Uh,
Do you have it?
Let's see. The line is like 59 right now. 59.5.
Wow, man, I don't know. I mean, I can see it doing that, but yeah, I'm probably not gonna. I was gonna bet Patriots over, but never mind. That's fine. All right, man. Well, that concludes the show, man. Thank you for joining us, and we hope to see you next week. And good luck.